Welcome to this video. We are going to be talking about organelles today. And really in class, we have been looking at these pictures. Oops. Well, hello there. I'm so glad to see you. Welcome to this video. We are going to be doing an organelle review. And the real reason to do that is if we look back at the pictures we've been looking at in class, we've been looking for patterns. So if I look at this selfie photo, and I look at this onion root photo, we've been trying to determine what they have in common. Now, there's a lot that they have in common, but where we get into a little bit of trouble is dealing with scale, proportion, and quantity. Using that scale tool, we know that some things are so small that we can't even see them with the microscopes we have in class. So, for the purpose of this lesson, we're going to go ahead and zoom on in to more than we can see with our microscopes. So, I hope you'll follow along, whether that's with a shrink-eating piece of paper or whether that's with our guided note-taking sheet that's going to need to be filled out. Regardless, here we go. First, let's talk about the cell membrane. The cell membrane is this outermost covering of the cell. It's found in all cells. All cells have a cell membrane. Every single cell has a cell membrane. The cell membrane is made up of fat, which we sometimes call lipids, and it's going to be kind of like the door behind me. It's going to control what passes in and out of the cell. So it's also sometimes compared to your skin. That was the cell membrane. Did you turn on your brain? Cell membrane? Get it? No. Okay, fine. We'll move on. After you get through the cell membrane, you're going to get into the cytoplasm. So this substance right here, basically anything that looks like empty space, is the cytoplasm. It's water-based, kind of jelly-like, and the cytoplasm controls why things don't bump into us. If we kind of think about the classroom, it would be like the air in the classroom that is in between me and this computer or me and the wall. It's just kind of anywhere there looks like there's empty space, it's not. It's cytoplasm. Jelly-like water that keeps everything moving and grooving like shit. Next, we have the nucleus. Now the nucleus is an organelle made up of a bunch of other organelles. It is like the brain of the cell. It's in control of everything. It contains all of the information and blueprints for what's going to be happening and the function of the cell. So the nucleus is super important. The nucleus is also super big. So it is this whole circle. Remember I said it had other things in it? This is in it, this is in it. The whole big circle is the nucleus. The nucleus is one of the only organelles that we see when we look in the microscope. So it's super important, and it's in all of the cells we looked at so far. There's a catch. I'll tell you about it in a minute. So we just talked about the nucleus, but the nucleus, like the cell, is encased in this surrounding material to keep it safe. That surrounding material is the nuclear envelope, or nuclear envelope, depending on which you prefer. It's going to be a really, really thin outer layer around the nucleus. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in again into the nucleus, where we have chromatin. Chromatin here, it looks like a bunch of little tiny dots. The chromatin is where the DNA is. Okay, so chromatin thickens to become chromosomes. And the chromosomes are going to be basically how you get all your traits. And we learned about that in a couple units. But it's going to be the basis for genetics. All of this chromatin is also like a blueprint telling things how to be built. So chromatin thickens to become chromosomes. Then there's this really, really cute little part of the nucleus. It's like, oh, it's so cute, it's like a little tiny baby. Okay, it's right here. It is the nucleolus. So that's how I remember it, because it's like a nucleus. But, oh, it's so cute, little baby nucleus. See, nucleolus. Did it? Maybe? Anyway. The nucleolus is important because it produces ribosomes. And the ribosomes are basically the building blocks of proteins that help to build your muscles and build your brain and build things. So the nucleolus builds the ribosomes according to the blueprints, which are made in the chromatin. Correct. Nice job. And we already talked about the nuclear envelope. Oh my gosh. This one is one of my favorites. It makes me embrace my inner Harry Potter because it sounds like magic. But it's not. It's a part of you and a part of cells. It is the endoplasmic reticulum. Sometimes we call the endoplasmic reticulum ER for short, and there are two types, smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. But the endoplasmic reticulum is like a pathway from the nucleus to the rest of the cell. So all of this membrane moves the ribosomes that are produced in here to the outside of the cell. Sometimes I think it's easier to cast it than say it. So go ahead and take your pencil, and you're going to say endoplasmic reticulum. Try it again. Endoplasmic reticulum. It's around and around and around and then out, which might help because that's what it looks like. So it goes around and around and around and around the nucleus and then sends things out of the nucleus. Endoplasmic reticulum. Do not get in trouble for casting this on your brothers and sisters. They won't know what you're talking about unless they're in high school or college. But endoplasmic reticulum, around and around the nucleus and then out. Next we have the ribosomes, and we just talked about that. Do you remember where they're produced? It's really cute. Ribosomes are produced in the nucleolus. Uh-oh, Belle. We're going to ignore it. The nucleolus. Okay, so one of the ways I remember... Small glitch, but we're back. One of the ways I remember ribosomes is their function makes me think of, like, what I would eat. So remember, ribosomes are the proteins. And when I think proteins, I think meat. And ribs are a type of meat. So if you can remember that the first part of ribosomes is rib, and that rib is a type of meat, and that meat is a type of protein, then it might help you to remember that the ribosomes are the proteins in our cells. Next, we have another magic part, because it is Golgi apparatus. When I say Golgi apparatus, sometimes I go side, 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 and flick, almost like a swish and flick, but it's Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus is sometimes also called the Golgi bodies. I don't know if you can see it because my photo's in the corner, but it is this like stack and network of membranes that kind of also to me look like the thing on Mario Kart where if you hit it, you go super fast. That helps me to remember the function because in the Golgi apparatus, it's going to package things and then zoom them outside of the cell. So let's say maybe you had a bacteria that was in your cell or attacking your cells or a virus or something of that sort. The Golgi apparatus can get rid of it. When something hits it, it packages it and sends it outside of the cell. That is the function of the Golgi apparatus. Next, mitochondria. Meaty mitochondria. The mitochondria, like my ribosomes, I can remember because if I'm thinking about meat, the mighty mitochondria is where I get energy. Now, Stephanie's going to come and tell us about the mitochondria and how it gets energy.
I don't know.
Say hi, Stephanie. Okay. So, in the mitochondria, all of the things that we eat are broken down. So this is the place where it converts our meat and turns it into energy. It's so interesting and so cool because we know that plants do photosynthesis. This is like reverse photosynthesis happening in our cells. So, mitochondria are important. They are the powerhouse of the cell. That's a meme. Google it. It's a thing. Okay. Next, we're almost done. We have lysosomes. Lysosomes make me think of Lysol, that stuff that your mom might spray or grandma might spray on things to make it all like clean. Lysosomes do that for cells. They digest waste and worn out cell parts. Okay. So if you can remember that Lysol is used for bacteria, lysosomes, same thing at the cellular level. They're going to kill and break down worn out cell parts and things that might not need to be there. Centrioles, next to the nucleus, kind of up here. And I didn't say lysosomes are here. Mitochondria would be these meaty looking things. Another way to remember them as meat. They look like sausage. Centrioles we can't see on here, but they're teeny tiny. See? Minute. It's not minute. Minute. Organelles next to the nucleus, which help to aid in cell division, which is going to be important. Then we have plant cells. Plant cells have giant vacuoles. The giant vacuoles look like giant bubbles. Okay? They store water, kind of like a bubble or kind of like a baggie. They just store things that our bodies need. Now, plant cells are a little different because they have giant vacuoles and animal cells have itty bitty vacuoles. Why do you think that might be? Can a plant go like get a drink of water if it's thirsty, take its hydro flask and, no, it can't. So a plant has to store more water than you and I would. So plant vacuoles, big, animal vacuoles, small. You'll also notice that surrounding the cell is the cell wall. Only plants have cell walls. Only plants have cell walls. Only plants have cell walls. And they need the cell walls because that provides them their structure. Our bodies, we have bones. They don't. So our bones are a different type of cell. They don't have different types of cells like that. Well, they do, but work with me here. Their structures are provided by their cell walls. And then last but not least in plants, we have chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are filled with chlorophyll. It's what makes them green, and it's where photosynthesis occurs. So if you look at a plant, you have very, very few, if any, mitochondria, but they are chocked full of chlorophyll, which is in the chloroplasts. Alrighty. Last but not least, when we look at how all of these things are organized, our cells make up tissues. Our tissues make up organs. Our organs make up organ systems. And our organ systems make up organisms. So, we have all of these small building blocks that build upon each other to make us, plants, and all living things what they are. We are going to spend a lot more time in class reviewing these and talking about these, but this sheet is your ticket to do the next activity. So, I hope you enjoyed it as much as you can. I hope you took good notes, and if you didn't, back to the beginning, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for watching.